Hello, welcome, and thank you so much for joining me, Alyssa Arundell, for our April 2020 tarot card reading. If you haven't already, I'd be honoured if you subscribed and also hit the notification bell so that you get alerted every time Patrick and I drop a new video. Also, I'd love to tell you about our free 3-card tarot reading, which you can get in the description box down beneath this video. It's completely free and it looks at your past tense, your present tense, and your future tense. A lot of readings out there are generic, but this reading really is written specifically for the past, present, and future in mind, so that you can get a really overarching energy and feel of the situation that you're inquiring about. So if you haven't already, see the description box beneath this video to get your free 3 tarot card reading. Hello Sagittarius, and thank you so much for joining me for your April 2020 tarot card reading. Your ruler Jupiter aligns with the planet of change and Pluto all month, so hard work and endeavours could really boost your finances, and new ideas could really draw your attention. I'm so pleased to be doing this reading with my fellow Saggies. So here we have our card for the month. Wow, it's brilliant. It starts off with the 10 of Cups. This is about a happy home life, feeling more secure in some ways, feeling more safe and structured. I feel like it may not have been so good in the past, or it's been a bit rocky, but I do think a new type of security is coming in, a new feeling of just feeling like you're in the right place and you're on the right track. But let's see what's blocking you. We have here the Magician. Perhaps it's almost like you're feeling a bit like you don't have all the tools. You don't feel like you have all the experience to deal with, you know, what you're being required to do. You could be applying for a new job and you don't feel like you quite are experienced enough. But the Magician is actually saying you are. This is the time to stop taking classes, stop reading, you know, manuals, and just get on with it. Get on with the job at hand. Trust that you have got the knowledge you need to succeed. The card that is your foundation card that everything's built upon this month is the High Priestess. She's probably my favorite card in tarot personally, because she's very you can never know completely what to make of her, and I find that really interesting. She sits there with this book of knowledge. She knows a lot of stuff, but she doesn't get involved unless she's asked. So perhaps this month it's asking Sagittarians to not get too caught up or involved in other people's stuff. Even if we have the answers to it, wait until we're asked. Then we can even wow people with the knowledge. But she's very much centered. She is the card that represents life in itself, the duality of life, the pillars of life. And she sits perfectly in the middle. So it's, yes, it can mean balance, but I think in a more spiritual sense, it's just about staying a little bit detached from things that perhaps don't concern us, even if we want to get involved. But that's just what I'm getting from this. The past card we have here is the Star. Wow. I think with this coming up in the past, it's about the hard work that's being put in. If we think about these 3 stars here are hard work, and then this is manifestation, and then this is the result of hard work coming out. So I think you may see some results from the hard work you put in basically in the past. The card that crowns you, Sagittarius, is the 5 of Wands. Again, this can be like fights, arguments, conflict. It's a spiritually induced card, so it could mean that you get brought into a debate over philosophy or something like that, and it gets a little bit heated. It could be fights amongst friends, siblings. It's nothing major. It's like a squabble. And it can actually feel like quite upsetting. But again, I think it's asking you not to get involved in it. Try and keep that, you know, point of view that's out of the loop a little bit. Don't get dragged into it. Your immediate future card here is the Hermit. The Hermit is twofold really for you. I feel like one half is to do with this conflict situation, and again it's saying go it alone, just take yourself out of it, isolate yourself a little bit from it. But also, it's a card of being a trailblazer. And the great thing about being a trailblazer is being the trailblazer. It's wonderful to have that leadership role and that leadership quality. But the downside to it is often people haven't tread that path before, and it can feel a bit lonely. He's here with his light guiding other people who are going to follow him, but who's he following? His own intuition, I guess. So you might be asked to be a leader in some way, and you might feel like you've got to go it alone a little bit this month, which could make you feel a little bit resentful perhaps in some ways. But I do think that this is for a higher purpose. We got your state of mind here as a the 10 of Swords. This is feeling just exhausted, guys. This is, you're just tired, and I feel like you've been dragged into a lot of things before. You don't want to get dragged into them anymore. But it's number 10. So this is like coming to a conclusion soon. I think a situation has ended for you, perhaps. Something. And endings are always followed by new beginnings, which is great news. But there may be some sadness over what's transpired. Could be mixed with a bit of welcome relief. It is time to walk away and expect your circumstances to improve. It could be time to change your career or employment, but don't put limits on yourself right now as to what you can achieve. Like the Magician was blocking himself earlier. Just try not to put those limits on yourself. The card that is your outside influence is the Hanged Man. This is so clear, I feel, for me, this reading. The Hanged Man might look a bit scary, but he's actually very chilled out. He's in a meditative state. Things are going on around him, and he's not making any quick decisions at all. It's time to perhaps look at things from a new perspective, Sagittarius, and just ask yourself, is it possible that a different approach would work? Events may feel like they've come to this standstill. It's temporary. You may be given a little extra time to just review things. But showing your uniqueness is going to be key with you moving forwards, because when this card comes up, it's asking us to step outside the norm, step outside the mainstream, and just embrace your uniqueness, your eclectic beliefs, your attitudes, your style. Just allow it to shine, and don't be so hung up, literally, on other people's opinions. We have as a hope or fear here the Ace of Wands. I feel like as a hope, this is what you want. You want this fiery energy to come into your existence. You want to sort of like a bit of a head start in life in some ways. And as a fear, I think the fear is that you won't get it. But this card is saying that it's actually very positive. It's the first suit of a new... it's the first card of a new suit, and the suit is your suit, the suit of fire. This exciting new opportunity, like with this, can really show up. I think it is to do with your career, and I think you're going to be allowed to be a lot more creative than you have been. It can be starting a new business, but again, as with this card, it can be about self-expression, so it could be time for some kind of makeover or something like that. And then the outcome card is Death. Death very rarely signifies physical death, although, you know, it can. But for the most part, death signifies a new beginning, a renewal of sorts. It's about change. It's about things moving forwards. It's about letting go and release. There is no benefit whatsoever in remaining in a situation that is toxic to you. I think you're going to experience a big sense of relief moving on from something that you've outgrown. Take your time making this decision, because the hangman doesn't rush into anything. Just take your time and be kind to yourself through this transition. You might want to seek some support from your friends and family. Could be you facing your fears. It could be a relationship transition or breakup of some kind, or a spiritual evolution that you're going through. So you're changing the way you are, and all this. You're just trying to just stay out of. Just don't get involved in any dramas that you don't need to, because you've got enough of your own spiritual awakening happening. I mean, look at all these major arcana cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a big time. It's a big month. So just take that time for you to navigate your own journey. Thank you so much for joining me for this month's tarot card reading. I really appreciate you allowing me to be in your space, and I'm happy to have been in yours. Once again, I'd be really honoured if you press the subscribe button and notification bell. Until we speak again next month, thank you for joining me. Many blessings, Alyssa.